My name is Al Rogers. I'm with the Interfaith Justice League, and I also post videos on the Progressive Communication Network and My Peace TV on the Peace Activist channel of My Peace TV. We're going to be discussing tomorrow on a Zoom conference call with Rabbi Barry Silver, Bishop McKissick, and several other members of the Interfaith Justice League about the fact they endorsed the Justice and Policing Act, which is House Bill 7120. Banning chokeholds and no-knock warrants for drug cases has already just passed as a law in the state of New York. Eric Garner today would be alive if that law had been passed 6 years earlier. Creating a federal misconduct registry is incredibly important. Right now, as it stands, the officer who murdered Tamir Rice had previous complaints and even got a position with another police department after the death of Tamir Rice. The third item is limiting qualified immunity for law enforcement. Requiring local police departments to share use of force data is incredibly important. Now, the Senate version of this bill is woefully inadequate. To say you need to put a study out on chokeholds instead of just banning it outright is an insult. Senator Tim Scott should be embarrassed that he put that in his bill, that they wanted to conduct a study on police procedures when it comes to chokeholds. This country has tried to pass a federal law making lynching a federal crime for many, many years. That's way overdue. Now, right now we have, just recently, Breonna Taylor on a no-knock warrant is now passed away because the warrant was for somebody who was already in custody. So to come in and say they had a legal right to even enter that place with a no-knock warrant was totally invalid. And more than just one police officer needs to resign in that matter. Just having just one forcing just one officer to resign when multiple officers were at fault is wrong. Hopefully the Attorney General will look into that in the state of Kentucky. A lot of things have happened over the last few weeks that have changed people's minds on the fact that laws need to be changed in order to address the bad behavior of police officers. Police officers don't want other police officers that misbehave to be part of the police force. So we're making the police officer's job easier if we hold bad police officers held responsible. As it stands right now, the unions in many police departments around the country interfere with the carrying out of justice against a police officer that's committed a felony. Giving qualified immunity should only be applied if there's any chance that the officer happens to be innocent of the charges. If he's guilty of manslaughter, he needs to be tried for manslaughter, not have any kind of qualified immunity. Most of the time, the city pays for the lawsuit that comes from a wrongful death. So that argument of not giving the qualified immunity, that's a non-starter with the Senate, only because the Senate is not interested in giving justice to everybody. That's the only way you're going to have justice is if a police officer is just as liable for, should have no protection. If a police officer commits a crime, there should be no such thing as qualified immunity. So, in any case, banning chokeholds and no-knock warrants should have been done years ago. There's so many examples over the last 7 or 8 years of innocent children and people being murdered because of the fact that the police entered into the wrong building or thought that by having the element surprise that they could make an effective arrest. That's not always the case. Whether it's a no-knock warrant or not, there's no guarantees that an effective arrest will happen with no knock. So, in any case, again, we'll be broadcasting tomorrow a Zoom conference call. Hopefully, the local TV stations in Palm Beach County, Florida, WPEC and WPTV will be involved. Also, WUSA in Washington, D.C. Hopefully will be involved. If you want to comment on this video, it's Interfaith Justice League, League @gmail.com. You can also reach me at the Progressive Communications Network, or just go into the search bar, Progressive Communication Network, and email me there. My name is Al Rogers, and I've produced a lot of videos on the healthcare movement through the years, and we have over 32,000 members of the Progressive Communication Network. A lot of the videos are listed there if you want to see some of them. Again, I look forward to tomorrow. Right now, the Justice and Policing Act hasn't even been having a chance of being voted on in the Senate because McConnell won't bring up that version of the bill. The version that they have is totally inadequate, and they know it. There were 4 Republican congressmen who did vote in favor of it. Anyway, I hope everybody enjoys their July 5th, and good afternoon.